I had the recession come home to me a couple months ago when I got into a major car accident. It was not my fault, and unfortunately it was 2 weeks after my husband lost his job, so we were not able to afford to replace the car. And both being active bikers and riders of TRIMET, we thought it wouldn't be a problem, but this has become a major issue for us, these proposed cuts, not to mention the lack of service that we've been experiencing lately. I live on the 4, but I use the 31 regularly to meet with the Forest Service because I work for an advocacy group that works on Mountain View National Forest, which brings me to BARC. We are one of the many organizations in the city that goes door to door with very important information to educate people on issues that are affecting our drinking watershed as well as many other issues. Many organizations like BARC who have door-to-door canvas rely on the bus system in order to get to those neighborhoods, all the buses in order to get to those neighborhoods. And it's not just nonprofits that have this information to be able to do good advocacy work. It's also our political process is very dependent on a canvas to be able to get information about candidates out to people and not have to use things like expensive advertising on the television or in media, in print media. So I am also here to advocate for making sure that these cuts don't happen because of that important part of the political process. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name is Andrea Townsend and I'm a member and staff person of Portland Jobs with Justice and a member of the Transit Riders Union. I grew up in Southeast Portland and I currently live in St. John's. I've been using TRIMET since I was a kid and regularly take the 75 from St. John's and the MAX around the city. I really love public transportation in Portland, I have to say. It's one of the things that makes Portland a really great place to live. And I'm here to speak out against any and all cuts to TRIMET service. The idea that during a time of record unemployment and economic hardship that we would cut public transportation in this city is horrific to me. Working people and the poor are suffering enough under the current economic crisis without cutting the essential services that we depend on to live. We need our bus lines to get to and from our homes, to school, for business and recreation, to keep and find work. And since ridership is rapidly increasing, it's clear to me that we need more service, not less. I understand that the city and the state are facing a massive funding crunch, but we can address this without cutting TRIMET. We just have to think creatively and we have to work together. We must come to agreement on this point, that all the buses and the MAX lines are essential. Every Portlander deserves full access to public transportation, and we will find a way to improve and expand our transit system so that it fully serves our community. I want the board to know that we, the people of Portland, Oregon, will fight for our right to freely move about our city, and I implore you to join with us in protecting these services that we desperately need, not cutting them. Thank you.
I just have a couple of points I'd like to make. First of all, I just wanted to express my appreciation, especially to the service planning staff who did listen to us and seemed genuinely concerned to try to find ways to mitigate the consequences of the reduction in service. So we really do genuinely appreciate that. On a minor operational point, just for the service planning people, I hope they'll find a way to coordinate the operation of the 18 in combination with the 63 to hook up with 51 or the 15 to get us from 18th down to our downtown. Another point I'd like to make is that I think it'll be important that you restore the service levels as soon as revenues go back up, hopefully sooner than later when the economy recovers. And the reason I say that is that inevitably, even though the revised proposal includes retention of the 18 line by combining it with the 63, doing so is going to substantially reduce the quality of what is already pretty minimal service. And we've been inching up in ridership over the last few years. That's going to plateau with this and very possibly decline just inevitably. So I don't mean to complain. I'm really happy that we are retaining some service, but we're going to lose ridership. And then lastly, the last point I'd like to make is that I hope that TriMet will take the opportunity, once this kind of crisis is over, to investigate ways to provide in a more sustainable and lower-cost way niche bus services or services to niche markets like the 18. The 18 serves a very small area. We're never going to have high volumes. We came up with some ideas that we think might be able to reduce costs in the long run. They're going to require things like modification of labor agreements. Let me just give you an example, one example to illustrate an idea we came up with, because the 18 serves high school students largely, is to run the route with a cab in the summertime, because there are really just a few of us who are still working over the summer and operating and taking the transit line during that period. So obviously that has implications because it's not the model of a driver in a bus. But I think in the long term it would be good to find ways to modify that. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Shannon Kathleen O'Connor. That's O''Connor. That is my real name, and it's about as Irish as you can get. I first want to thank TriMet for allowing us to speak with you today. I really appreciate all of the meetings that you put on. I, along with other writers of the 74 Express, have attended these meetings and presented different ideas and alternatives, and I appreciate TriMet's open-mindedness to listen to those. I want to commend you on providing service. A few years ago, we had a very nasty winter storm that shut down the city of Portland. Many of you will remember that. Because of TriMet's efforts, I was able to get to work. As a power employee, I'm required to be there. And by making it so I could get to work that day, I was able to print out maps for line crews on the coast so that they were able to restore power. Safety is the number one concern of my company, and safety is the number one concern of TriMet. If you eliminate the 74 Express, you are putting some high school kids that attend Benson High School at risk, as the 74 Express drops them off right by the high school currently. If that express line is eliminated, they then have to take the maps and then cross a very busy intersection. And I've seen many occasions where the kids have nearly been hit by cars, by drivers who are not paying attention. I myself, one of the alternate routes that was provided, I live in southeast Portland, so I take the 14 and then transfer to the 74 Express to get to work. One of the alternates was the line 70, which means I would have to get off there on Southeast 12, and that is not a pedestrian-friendly intersection or bicycle-friendly at all. There is no crosswalk, and it's very dangerous. I've had to run away from trucks and cars. They're just flying very quickly to get to work. Safety has to be a number one priority, and the Express has been in service for some time now and has provided safety for the high school students as well as business commuters to and from the Lloyd Center District. By offering the 74 Express, many people are able to go to Kaiser Permanente for medical needs, to go to their banks, insurance companies, power companies, the Lloyd Center Mall. The Lloyd Center Mall, as you know, the economy is the biggest storm on us all at this time. It's not seasonal. It's something that's hurting us all. And we need to do everything in our power to make sure that we keep the service in place so that people can get to and from work, get to and from school safely, and be able to live their lives, to go to weekend events, to be able to attend the things that they love and enjoy. I thank you for your time, and I appreciate you putting this on for all of us to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.